for the AEC space. And so I'm going to let Cal Gleason take over, and he'll talk about two things we wanted to have a discussion about on today, folks. One is SKYSITE, our project management toolkit software, and the other one is drone services, which seem to be hot. So with that, Cal, I'll let you drive, and let's have a great webinar.
Perfect. Well, once again, Scott and BRAGB, thank you so much for allowing Alan and I to give you guys a high-level overview of a couple of our technology offerings. I really appreciate everyone joining the call today. Definitely look forward to going through the two solutions that that Alan just mentioned, drones and our cloud-based solution, SKYSITE projects. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen now. I'm going to go ahead. I do have just a small slide deck on drones, and then additionally, I do have just a one-page PDF of SKYSITE, and then from there, if we do want to actually jump into the application, just a 5-minute overview, we can do that as well. And please, if any questions arise during the conversation today, I very much like this to be interactive. So if there's any questions, do not hesitate to interrupt me. Awesome. So just want to confirm everyone's seeing my screen right now, the page that has ARC's drone services.
Yep.
Yep. Perfect. Awesome. So drones it's actually one of the newer technology services that ARC has decided to invest in. I'm sure, as you all know, drones are becoming more and more prevalent in the AEC industry. There's so many different applications that they can be used for, and we'll definitely discuss some of those today. So the page that you're seeing right here, this is actually, these are some of the different types of drones that we use on project sites. So you can see the white drone towards the top, that's actually just your, standard drone where it has a high resolution camera that can take videos as well. And then some of the other, the drone that really jumps out that has the black with the red as well. That's actually for our LiDAR services, which we'll get into more. And then the other ones are some of our thermal sensors as well. But the benefits of using drones, there's so many different benefits. Just really having the most up-to-date knowledge of everything that's happening at your project site. So, having that current information, being able to make decisions based off of that information, really reducing risk. That's another application that we're seeing our clients utilize drones for, being able to, asset inventory, making sure that, everything is where it needs to be, safety, just making sure that, everything is in the correct spots. And yeah, this is just to touch on our specific drone network. We do have a network of over 15,000 pilots. So I know, obviously, given that we're talking about the Boston area, if you all have projects around the country, we can potentially partner together. And our process is pretty simple. We do actually have a portal on our website where you can go enter in all of your project information. Essentially, we just need to get that address. And from there, we would get that vetted with the FAA. So we do have to, before we can actually go on site, we do have to confirm that there are no flight restrictions and that we can actually go on site with the drones.
Right, and also, Cal, this is Alan, by the way, guys. We also need like a map, so outlining the area that you want us to do the drone flight. It's crucial that we have, it's a very simple portal. Avalon Bay loves it. They go on there, they just fill out the information, boom, within 3 days, we've got that job done. I'll go over what deliverables that we give. Go ahead, Cal.
Yeah, no, excellent point, Alan. That's really important to bring up, that, just making sure that we know exactly where you want us to fly, just because a lot of the times, we're going on a pretty large project site. And if we don't know exactly, what you need, us to take pictures and videos of, there could be, potential for, issues. So we always like to know, as Alan mentioned, the flight path, and then typically just a point of contact that will be on site, just so that we can, reach out beforehand, confirm, hey, we're coming at this time. This is the number we're calling. This is the person we're speaking with. Awesome. So this slide that you're seeing right here, you can see, utilizing drones can really be, they can be used across the life cycle of a project, from planning, environmental planning. We do have, LiDAR services where we can essentially take a survey of a land if you need that. From a design piece, we can also, take that point cloud data from our LiDAR drones, and we can integrate with a BIM model if that's what you need. From the building phase, obviously, having that oversight, being able to have the progress reporting that the drones offer. Also surveillance, that's another application that we're seeing as well. And you can see, crew monitoring, just once again, going back to, reducing the risk, making sure that everything is where it needs to be. From a, maintenance perspective, we can do asset inventory inspections, pavement condition, you can see. And then, from a reinvest, the feasibility analysis. So yeah, there's just so many different applications, and it really comes down to data collection, the analysis of that data, and then being able to turn that data into a visual, having that end deliverable, whether it be, just pictures, videos, or integrating with a BIM model.
Right, and Cal, it's also got folks, it's good for marketing because you can utilize these aerial photos and videos and, for social media or websites and community relations. So not only do you think about it as like for safety and, site coordination, project tracking, safety, making sure people are wearing their hard hats, stuff like that. It does the mapping, it does the LiDAR, which is light detection and ranging for modeling and stuff, and thermal. It's really interesting. I mean, you can get into very key specific stuff, and when you want to find out more about that, we can provide some information on that.
Excellent point, Alan. Yeah, marketing is one of the applications that I'm seeing more and more often. Being able to show, hey, this was the project that we just finished, or this is a project that we're working on. Being able to have those, high resolution pictures, videos can really, work wonders. Awesome. So just moving on, these are, even more applications, a lot of the things that we've already discussed. So I won't spend too much time. Obviously, I'm not going to read through every single one of these bullet points. But, once again, there's just so many different applications, from facility management, roof inspections. I know we've already discussed, LiDAR and just our basic, photo and video. But you can see on the left-hand side, there's just so many different applications. And as Alan mentioned, if there's really anything on here that jumps out that you guys would like to, learn a little bit more about, or maybe if you even have a project currently where, maybe we would need some LiDAR mapping services, or maybe, we would, like to see if we can even bring a drone on site, we would definitely love to, discuss that further with you. Perfect. So this slide, it goes through not only the benefits, but also the outcomes of using drones on your project sites. I know we've already talked about, BIM integration, monitoring the job sites, but you can see the outcomes that really come, from utilizing drones. BIM is becoming more and more prevalent on projects, on a day-to-day basis, and it's really excellent to have, the ability to use a drone for, to really strengthen that BIM model. Obviously, a drone can, our pilots are licensed by the FAA as well, and insured. So that's another thing that I really like to make sure whenever, if you were to, partner with ARC, we do have, the pilots have their own insurance policy. We also have our own separate insurance policy as well. So you'll never have to worry about, if something out of our out of our control were to happen, don't worry. We would be the ones that would hold that liability.
Just add that, Cal. So the pilots have hard hats, vests, steel toe shoes, and obviously the pilot's provided, right? But there's $1 million minimum liability insurance covered by the pilot. So obviously, we go to great lengths in trying to, we're one of the only companies out there that does end-to-end. In other words, there's a company out there that just gives you the drone, and you got to actually get the pilot, and you got to have them get FAA clearance and all that type of stuff. So, and there are mom and pop organizations that have their sons and, or work colleagues get the drones. But then the problem that you have is when you get that media, like I mentioned, part of our deliverable is giving you the media. So it's images, it's MPEGs, JPEGs, TIFFs, video clips. When we give you that media, what happens is a lot of companies will take that media, be stuck with that individual. What we do is we grab that media and we can download it into our SKYSITE project management suite, which Cal will talk about next. And so you have that so that everybody in your organization can have access to it. So you don't have to go scrounging and looking for, hey, where's that video clip of that drone that we did for XYZ site, 10 months or 12 months ago. So anyway, Cal, just wanted to add that input.
No, great point. Thanks for adding that, Alan. Yeah. Awesome. So moving along, this is our set pricing for drones. So it's great. You can see we have a couple of different options. One-time on-demand flights. It's $385 per flight. And as Alan and I mentioned, obviously, we do not actually invoice or charge for a flight until we have clearance from the FAA. So if for any reason, if we're waiting to get clearance, and let's say it's one of those situations where you just need it immediately. If you were to sign a contract and for whatever reason we got once we heard back from the FAA that we can't fly there, that contract would be null and void. So I'd like to mention that we do have a 12-month contract and a 6-month contract. So with the 12-month, it's 1 flight per month or 12 flights. So it's really up to you to decide, how do I want to use these 12 flights? Maybe I want to do 2 flights the first month. Second month, I maybe don't need one. Then the third flight or third month, we can do 2 more or maybe 1. So it's really just, as you can see, it's a used by contract. And that's actually $298 per month. So it comes to just about, almost $3,600, $3,576. And with our weekly option, it's a 6-month used by contract as well. So it's 1 flight per week or 26 flights. And that's $215 per flight. So that would come to, you can see, $5,590. And then for those special projects where maybe we're going on site with a thermal sensor or our LiDAR technology, those are quoted on a project by project basis. Just because the end deliverable it's not the same, obviously, as our standard package, which you can see on the right hand side. So the standard package includes, it's a 360-degree view shot of your project, 20 images, 1 video clip, and with the images, it can really be JPEG or TIFF. You decide what format you need it to be in, and yeah, it's 4K resolution. As Alan had mentioned, which is very important, the pilots do come on site with a hard hat, vest, steel toe shoes, and they have the $1 million minimum liability insurance covered by the pilot. So and Cal, project managers, have asked me that. Alan, you got to make sure the pilot has steel toes and has a safety vest. Absolutely, you know what I mean. So it's a requirement usually. As Cal mentioned, it's very simple, folks, to work with us. You go to the portal, you fill out the information, but also like you put comments in there. And a lot of the project managers will say, yeah, the pilot has to have hard hat, has to have steel toed shoes, and has to have vest. It's funny, it's all the stuff that we have anyway, but it's just validating that. So, and what's great about the portal. What's great about the portal, guys, is if you also want to have something different, we can quote. I mean, here's our standard quoting on the left-hand side of the screen you're seeing. But if you have something special, like maybe you want just 6 flights, right? One every 2 weeks or something, we can set that up too. We just need to have that information, and then we'll work with you on it. So just want to make sure yes.
This is not pricing, but if you have something that you're trying to either work with a budget, or you want a different time frame other than what normally customers want to engage us in, then that's how we'll operate.
Absolutely, great point. Yep, as Alan mentioned, if it's a special, circumstances, please let us know. We're more than willing to work with you. Yeah.
So we had a client that had real quickly, Cal, then I'll let you go to the next. So we had a client that had one of their apartment complexes had a fire, and so they immediately wanted a drone to go up within 24 hours to be able to do that, right? The drone up there to survey the damage that was done, so that helped them in their trying to do their restoration work. So anyway, something like that, obviously, because we have access to 15,000 pilots and we're national. Chances are, if you need something, expedited, we can probably do it more so than anybody else. Okay, go.
Correct. Great point. All right, so yeah, that's the end of the presentation on the drone services. Once again, pretty straightforward, but I want to make sure that Alan and I answer any questions that you guys may have. Any other questions before we move on to the project management solution, SKYSITE?
Just one question came through, Cal or Alan.
Yes.
Are you using these locally for residential construction currently?
Yes. So it's a wide range. We have done residential and commercial.
So all you really need on that residential side is the FAA permissions.
Exactly. We just have to we have to go through the vetting process because it really just depends. You know, maybe there's a military base nearby or an airport. Those obviously affect the flight restrictions. So we just need an address. It can be, obviously residential, commercial. From there, once we have the address, we go through the vetting process, and once we get the go ahead and we have the contract authorized, whether it's an on-demand or one of our different options, we guarantee a pilot on site in 3 days.
And how long does that process take?
It's pretty quick. I would say typically 24 hours or less.
So basically when you go to the portal and you key in the information, you give us the information we need. If we get everything we need, we can get you a quote within the next, I'd say, half day. So in other words, say you did it this afternoon, we get it by tomorrow morning, no later than that. But if we're missing information, we might have to exchange back and forth. Like if you send out, like I've had a customer put in the wrong address or send a wrong map, you know what I mean? So we're kind of looking at it and saying it's not making sense, how to correct the information. And then we're able to put together the proposal and quote. And here's one example, as Cal was mentioning. So it was a large multi-tenant complex, and it was it was a mile and a half near Norwood Airport. So we told the customer we need to get special approval if you want us to go for it, because it's going to cost, it was going to cost additional for a COA certificate to do that flight. And they said, no, back off. We want to hold off not doing any drones for right now. But anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any other questions before we move on? Nope. Okay, perfect. So we're going to go ahead and jump to this here. So I'm going to go ahead.
Oh, yeah, while Cal's doing that, I want to tell everybody. So obviously ARC, we started in 1988. It's over 30 years. We're the largest blueprinting company in the world, 95,000 customers. So what we realize is everybody's getting away from printing, going towards technology solutions. We created SKYSITE, which is it's a project management cloud-based application that's good for projects as well as archiving and facilities. So Kyle, I think you're going to talk about the project management piece. But we've been since 2000, we've had this application up and running. It's been a very successful. It's been a very good hit. It's very competitive in the marketplace because once again, we know the AEC space. It's in our DNA. So we came up with a very easy cloud-based solution so that any AEC personnel members can see their documents anytime, any place, anywhere. And they also can restrict access so that the general contractors can have access to the documents, as well as being able to, if you want to get more involved with our application and collaborate and push and pull information, then you can do RFIs, submittals, look at all the type of information that I want to give you just a high-level overview. Now, we've been around for a long time. We realized that we needed to create a program management, cloud-based solution toolkit for AEC personnel, and this is what Cal's going to take you through. Right, Cal?
Yeah, perfect. Yep. No, that was a great overview of SKYSITE, Alan. And as Alan mentioned, I always like to point out that SKYSITE, it was fully designed and developed by ARC. So, like Alan said, we've been around since 1988, so we know the AEC industry. We saw that, technology, even though it's taken some time for the construction industry to really embrace technology, it's becoming more and more prevalent every day. So with SKYSITE, this slide here, it really gives you a high-level overview of the solution. So SKYSITE is a cloud-based construction document management solution with project management workflows. We do have a mobile app that's supported on both Apple and Android. So by utilizing SKYSITE, we give you the ability to access your project documents at any time on just about any device. So you're seeing that picture with the iPad. The viewer that you're seeing, that's the exact same viewer that you're going to see on your mobile device. So we give you the ability to pull up a drawing. You can create markups. As Alan mentioned, our project management tools include RFIs, punch list items, submittals. You can attach photos directly to your drawing. And with our punch list items and RFIs, you can attach photos as well, audio files, videos, walking through, you know, the issues that need to be corrected. So yeah, it's a really, really great tool. We're constantly updating it, you know, based off of client feedback. But yeah, it's been around for, you know, years now, and it's working great. It's very easy to use. And in my role specifically, Alan and I, we do product demonstrations, and it's typically about a, you know, 25, 30-minute overview that goes through, you know, not only what the application looks like, but really what our clients are utilizing it for. And you can see on the right-hand side of this page, one of the key functionalities that SKYSITE offers is that you'll never have to worry about anyone working from an outdated set. We use indexing technology to actually read the title block of your drawing, and SKYSITE will recognize, you know, whether or not this drawing has already been uploaded. So let's say that we get a new version and we go to upload that into SKYSITE. SKYSITE will automatically create that new version, which will live in your project. So in the latest documents folder is where you can find the latest version.
And Cal,
you know, obviously, yeah, go ahead.
Cal, I want to jump in. So folks, I mean, most of you people, I think, are using either Dropbox, Excel spreadsheets, and sharing information back and forth, right? So as you know, it's cumbersome. You're trying to find the information. It's tough to find it. We built this application to be a low-cost barrier for you to be able to collaborate, communicate, and share documents, even large files, as well as also print. In other words, you can say these set of documents. We have an iShip stock portal. You just send it to us. We can print copies so that we can give them to both the owner or the architect or whomever, or the general contractor or subcontractors. So once again, you know, we realized there was a need because, you know, as this, you know, as the building and contractors, as you start to grow, you know, you outgrow the use of Dropbox and sharing Excel files in Google Docs, right? You really need a more enterprise-wide application. And this application is extremely secure, by the way. It's ISO, I think, 2007, which is 2007. I want to get the acronym, but it's secure and validated. So we keep the documents in the cloud for you. You can access anytime you want, as Cal mentioned, by indexing by either project date, site, or project number, or anything like that. So it's a really slick application. It really is a better way to do business, and I think it's something you should definitely look at it and investigate. Anyway, go ahead, Cal.
Yeah, no, that's everything you mentioned is exactly why our clients are utilizing SKYSITE. And I always like to point out that with SKYSITE, everything is housed in the cloud. And another key benefit is with every tier, you get unlimited storage, unlimited sheets. So you'll never have to, I know some of our competitive, you know, some competitive solutions, they cap you at a certain amount of sheets, whether it be, you know, 500 or 1,000. With SKYSITE, you don't have to worry about that. And I know how, you know, cumbersome and how annoying it can be having to, you know, maybe email pictures back and forth or having to send a Dropbox link that has those pictures. With SKYSITE, you can, you know, simply attach a picture directly to the sheet level, and that's actually stored in the cloud. It's not stored on your mobile device, so it's not taking up storage on your device.
And you can use an iPad, tablet, iPhone, anything, right? Any type of accessible device, mobile device. And that's what's key about it. So it's constantly syncing too. So the cloud. So your device will constantly sync with the cloud and be able to access, as Cal mentioned, your most recent set of documents, which is key. You don't want to access old documents that have been 3 or 4 revisions old and have the wrong information and be working off that. That's
exactly. And to piggyback off what you just said, Alan, let's say you're going on to a project site and you don't have connectivity, so you're not connected to either mobile, you know, a mobile device or your phone, or there's no internet, there's no Wi-Fi. You can still download sheets directly to your device so that you can pull them up, and obviously you have the ability to, you know, toggle that on and off. So that you're not taking up too much storage on your space, but we do give you that option. So yeah, any questions on SKYSITE, or anything regarding the functionality or benefits of utilizing a solution like this?
Yeah, I'm curious. When I see project management, I think of like a a timeline of goals that are met, a sharing of information, obviously, which you have, and things like that. Is there a time element for the project in your product?
That's a great question. So as of right now, we do not have any type of scheduling modules. Being able to, as of right now, no. It's definitely, we do have, our development team has a product roadmap where, we're eventually hoping to take the platform. So that's definitely on our development team's radar. And because we are consistently coming out with new releases for SKYSITE, I do anticipate that in the near future, yes, there will be some type of scheduling, being able to manage those types of, goals, as you had mentioned. But as of right now, unfortunately, it's really just a document management solution with the project management workflows for RFIs, punch list items, and submittals.
Markups too, yep.
Which is very valuable. Don't get me wrong, it's very valuable. I just wanted to know if you had a scheduling element behind it also.
Right.
I think just because, I mean, obviously that's, you wanted to bring in the right, subcontractors at the right time. That's key into the project management piece. I agree. I just don't, everybody's different the way they do their operations, but we're trying to come up with a customized, I think, format that works for the majority. Right, Cal? And I know that eventually our research and design team will release it, but it's just tough trying to, everybody, companies work in different formats, and it's really not, as you mentioned, sir, it's really not a project management scheduling tool. But we're trying to encompass that into this program.
Well, I mean, I only ask because I don't know of an effective tool out there that will manage multiple schedules with multiple subs, other than a big spreadsheet on the wall.
I know, absolutely. And that's the pain, and that's the pain, and that's a pain we're trying to solve. Yeah, but but now you got to have different links, and you got to have different, calendars come together. It's just a little bit of, the back end is the biggest thing, right? Pulling it all together. But yeah, I know you're right. It's something that would be a definite advantageous tool to have in your toolbox to be able to do your job.
Right.
All right. Well, any other questions? And I think it would actually be beneficial. Let me go ahead and actually pull up what SKYSITE looks like for you all. I want to show you all what it looks like.
Yeah, and it's ISO 227001 certified, so a single sign-on security. It's very secure, guys, because obviously you don't want someone getting into your records and obviously or hacking into our SKYSITE application and then taking your documents,
And I apologize. My computer is giving me an error message right now. My internet is. Oh, here we go. Perfect.
Okay. So while Cal's pulling that up, I want to talk. Obviously, typical New Englanders, right? Okay, great application. What's the rough cost? So we offer a basic version free, so it doesn't cost anything. But then if you want like a professional license, which once again has more interactions and can do more things, it's like $39 a user. And then if you want the enterprise, it's $59 a user. So I know Cal will be going over this, but I just want to kind of let people know it's a low point of entry to get into it. And I think your ROI will be paid back tremendously in the first year. Go ahead, Cal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As Alan mentioned, our basic option, which is strictly document management, it still has that indexing process, not making sure that, through the latest documents folder, everyone's working from the most up-to-date set. And then the professional package, which that's the middle tier, that is our project management workflow. So the modules for RFI submittals and punch list items. And then the enterprise, it encompasses everything at both the basic and professional. It also has a email management archive where you can, we have an Outlook plugin where you can actually archive specific emails within your project in the cloud. So you don't, and from there you can, filter them down. You can store attachments. So that's the overview of our 3 different tiers. But as Alan had mentioned, the basic version, we can get you signed up for free, just to get it, try it out, upload some of your files, to see if it could potentially work, and then maybe you'd want to explore those project management workflows. So right now I logged in, and you can see I'm on the project dashboard, and I'm going to jump here to the My Projects tab. So these are projects that I've created within SKYSITE. You can see right here, Create Project, very easy to do so. SKYSITE is also searchable. So really you can search for, specific documents, projects. You can see if we open up the advanced search, we can filter by, the name, number, where it's located. If we actually jump into this project here, sample project residential home, as soon as you go into a project in SKYSITE, it brings up your folder structure. So you can see the folder structure, it's actually designed by our client. So when you create a project, you design you create the folder structure. So it's completely customizable. This latest documents folder right here, this is where you can find the latest version of documents. So we can take this drawing right here, A2.1. We can see that this is the 7th version of this specific file. Now let's say we had something that referenced the previous version. Very easy to locate that. Over on the right-hand side, if I click here on my 3 little dots and I pull up the revision history, this is where I can view previous versions. So I can view them, I can download them, or I can view the most up-to-date set. So in this example, A2.1, let's say, once again, we get a new version and we want to upload this into SKYSITE, and we go into the specific folder that it is, where it's located, construction documents. You can see it actually gives you the folder or the file path. So this file is located in the construction documents folder, and it's located in the construction plan subfolder. So let's say we jump into this plan, we upload the new version. SKYSITE will recognize that A2.1 has already been uploaded, and then that new version will live here in this latest documents folder. And another awesome benefit that SKYSITE offers is, I know our clients, everyone wants to, go as digital as possible, but there are still times, obviously, where a hard copy is needed. So if we click here, anytime you see this print shop or this shopping cart, once you click here, this will actually, we can just jump here real quick. I can show you what the print cart looks like. So you can order prints directly from SKYSITE, and it really doesn't matter, where your project is located. You can see all we need is the delivery address, and then from there, your file will get routed to your local ARC print shop. So it can be the Boston print shop, or maybe you have a project in California that you're working on. You can still order your prints directly from SKYSITE. It'll get routed to the local ARC print shop, and then it will get delivered directly to your project site or maybe your office, wherever you specify that it needs to be delivered. Awesome. So we'll go ahead and actually jump into the viewer here quickly. I just want to make sure that you guys can see. I know you saw the picture of it on the PDF file that we viewed, but want to make sure you guys see how easy it is to actually pull up a drawing. So you can see once you click on a file, it's going to open up the viewer. So this is a PDF viewer. So any PDFs that you upload will be able to be viewed in the viewer. But SKYSITE, you can house any type of files within SKYSITE. So it can be Revit models, CAD files, DWG. If you need a repository of all of your project files, you can still house them in the cloud. And you can see right here, we have our drawing. I'm just using my mouse to navigate, as you can see. And then we have our toolbar here on the right-hand side for, making markups, adding text box. Here's our project management tools, creating RFIs. This is where you can attach a photo to your drawing. And then here is creating a punch list item. On the left-hand side, if I actually click here on View All, this will show you every single markup that's been created on this specific drawing. So we're going to see all of the markups. We can see all of the photos, all of the punch list items, all of the hyperlinks that have been created. And anyone that you grant access to this drawing, they will be able to see the markups as well. All right. So once again, if you guys would like to maybe take a deeper dive into SKYSITE and do we can do a 20, 25, 30-minute demonstration similar to what we're doing now, but, just going over, the functionality in greater detail, please let Alan know. We would definitely enjoy getting that scheduled with you. But at this time, would love to open it up to any questions that you all might have around SKYSITE.
Yeah, because we have about 10 minutes left, so it's perfect timing, Cal. Good job with time management.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I know how busy this time of the year is for everyone.
Right.
I got to say that this is a pretty impressive tool with the amount of content you can keep in it and track in it for the builders. It's pretty impressive. I guess the question I have for you in general is this has to be a great tool for bigger developers, whether they're home developers or multifamily kind of things, because just a volume of information that has to be shared.
Yeah, so Pulteney is a huge user of this tool. Also, I want to say, is it Stantec, Cal, or is it, I'm trying to remember exactly off, there's a HDR, I think, uses it. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, HDR uses it. I believe Stantec does as well in a couple of their offices.
Yeah, let me.
But that being said, we have large clients that utilize it. We also have very mom and pop shops that want to just have a one single source of truth for their project where they can house all their documents and the ability to easily share out those documents like you had mentioned.
And you can once again, you can sync your drone data into this application, right, to have access to your drones for, so once again, it can also, we also use it for archiving. So you got all your blueprints lying around, we can take them and scan them into this application. That way you have electronic copy, and then depending upon what your retention policies are, you can destroy them or keep them, the hard copy, physical copies. But it's a great tool, and there's so many, I think, uses of it depending upon your needs that once customers start using it, they it's typical application, right? You probably only use 10 to 15, 20% of the use of it when you first start off. But then once you become more, your expertise comes better with it, and you start taking advantage of it, then you start going up 50, 60, 70, 80% of the application. Then your ROI is tremendous and what you get back in return. So let me just quickly look at projects. So I'm trying to, give me a second. KTGY, Gensler, and Pulteney are like large customers, to answer your question. That
All right. Well, at this point, if there's no other questions, I think it would be a good time to, wrap up the call today. Really appreciate your time and attention. Once again, if there's any, maybe you guys will have some internal discussions after today's call. Please do not hesitate to reach out to Alan if there's anything else that we can clarify, or if you guys would be interested in scheduling a more in-depth meeting around drones or SKYSITE.
Right, and so for Scott and Scott, if any members want to, even after if this recording gets released, if anybody wants to give it, wants the trial version, I just need the basic contact information. I can set them up in our system for a trial. And like I mentioned,
that was very interesting.
Yeah, and then once you get set up in the system, then I think once you try using it, that'll probably be the best time, Cal, for us to then do a demo, right? Because you've kind of fumbled around a little bit, you kind of have an idea of the flow and all that. Then we can start having some concrete discussions on, well, how do I do this? Or I'm having trouble trying to do this. What's the best way to, import records, to move records around, to do whatever you need to do.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, great. I want to thank BRAGB, and I want to thank everybody. To Cal, thank you for your time, and look forward to everybody having a great day.
Thank you. Good day.
Thank you all.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.